For our next session, we're going to hear from the Fusion Interactive team. And this is a team that they take their work very seriously, but they don't take themselves quite as seriously. So they like to have a lot of fun with the things that they produce. And as Mariana was telling me before she came in, she's prepared to make a fool out of herself. So without further ado, the Fusion Interactive team.
Hello, everybody. We were told there was a party in Miami, so we came to the party. So let's have a party. Bear with us because we cannot see very well. Can we fit? Okay. We cannot really see you, but we want you to know us. We are Fusion Interactive. Now we're going to show our face because otherwise we cannot see the presentation. So basically, the point that we want to make across here is that Fusion is from within, inside out. We are a diverse team. We want to address a diverse audience, which are millennials, and everybody brings a color to the story, and we're going to explore this a little bit further. So my name is Mariana Santos, and I'm a user experience, user interface designer, animator. I used to work in a very serious newspaper before, The Guardian, and now I have the chance to work in this very innovative and groundbreaking newsroom that has a TV and a digital outlet of news called Fusion. There is a joint venture between Univision and Disney ABC. Basically, what these mother companies wanted us to do is there's a new audience coming up, which are the millennials, and we want to know how to talk to them, how to address issues to them, issues that matter and that maybe wouldn't otherwise be noticed and of the interest of millennials. And we want to talk with their voice and be where they are consuming it, so be there where they are. And this man is the reason why we are all here. This is Daniel Eilenberg. So he started one of the most known blogs, political blogs in Mexico called Animal Politico. And then he came with Isaac Lee to Miami to start a new venture, which is this Fusion, a test drive to talk to millennials. This is me, and this is the day that Daniel, which I knew before, called me and said, now we have a very serious talk to have. And this talk lasted maybe 2 hours, where we talked about you coming to Fusion. And I was, by then, an ICFJ Knight Fellow working in newsrooms across Latin America. So I was having the chance to work with different mindsets, different people, different approaches on journalism. And I was really, really happy. So then I said, okay, what about if I have a team? Because to be honest with you, I was not super, super convinced because I was having the chance to work with so many teams across Latin America. Some of these people were in those teams, and I didn't want to give that away. But then I asked Daniel, can I have my own team? And he said yes. So I got very happy, and I started dancing with the dog, and the dog really didn't understand what was going on. Anyway, then as a young journalist designer, I always try to find my ideas and to assure that my choices are made correctly, because leaving The Guardian for me was a big deal, to go to Latin America, to the unknown, but it was one of the best things that happened to me in my life was to dare, to go out of my comfort zone and to be able to meet all these unexpected realities and people really made me a better person. So Rosenthal is kind of my godfather. He actually was the one who started to give me the first opportunities to come to this side of the world, as inviting me to become a teacher at the Knight Center. So I always ask him, shall I take this next step in my career? And he told me, go girl, Fusion sounds amazing. You're going to do amazing stuff and breaking what is already being produced, so breaking the expectations with media. So I thought, okay, this is my future, it's emerging. This is the travel I had to make from Costa Rica to Miami and all across Latin America, and then I saw this and I was like, okay, this is a sign. So it's not always that you have the chance to build your own team. And like honestly, Daniel gave me the freedom to build the team as I please. I had very limited time So one of the requisites was that available now. And of course, in my top priorities of what a team is, I never had the chance to build my own team before. My previous team was at The Guardian, where we were 7 people, all developers, myself, and then another journalist. And I think the most important skill is to be a nice person. And that is across whatever, everything, gender, nationality, beliefs, etc. As long as we are nice persons, we will try to be empathetic with each other and putting our egos outside of the room when we're trying to work in team. Working team is an extremely important thing for me because Danielle asked me, okay, I'm going to ask you, and the challenge is that you're going to do groundbreaking, innovative storytelling for Fusion. And I was like, okay, I love that challenge, but I cannot do it alone. I need a team. So I was pretty strong on this, and I need a team of people that know exactly what you want us to do. They are in the same page as me. They love storytelling, and they have a digital native within themselves from across all skill sets. So then our mission, as I told you, was to address this very diverse audience, which are millennials in the USA. And when we talk about millennials, we don't only talk about American natives, we don't only talk about Latinos that were raised and born here, or a second or third generation. We talk about all the minorities, which all of us are included, which are like immigrants, of course Latinos, LGBT, females, Black, etc. So we try to address and tell stories to those people that have least stories being told. So this was our first day at work. We were pretty happy. Meet our colleague, Daniela. She's the head of product. And this was our intern from Mexico. His father is from CIDE in Mexico, so you may know him, Rafael. So he was the first intern in our first day of work, and we loved him so much. We wanted him to stay, but he kept going with his studies. Then the other elements of the team came. So Victor came. Victor is an illustrator from Chile. And then in the screen we have Roberto Rodriguez, which is a developer with whom I work in Costa Rica. So he's working with us remotely. So he has his family there. He couldn't move in. And then here we are at Fusion. It's a very amazing newsroom together with Univision, where we have space to be creative, and there are the limits of communication. So it's like an awesome place to be in these moments in media. Then, of course, we had the chance to meet, all of us are #1 fans of Alberto Cairo. He's one of the best data storytellers, visual storytellers, infographic designer, and we really, really have been learning with him, and now having the chance to work with him. So we work with his students and try to involve them in the process of storytelling. So this is where we meet. Okay, we are meeting in Miami, so you know how the setting is here. And we had our first big meeting, all the executives trying to define what's going to be the future of Fusion, led by our Daniel. And then all the journalists. So here we have Anna Holmes. She's the editor of Voice, which are based in New York City. Jane Spencer, our editor-in-chief. Daniela, you already met. Jorge, and then Kent, he works with us. He's a creative and designer. And Jose Sendeno, who was the person that put us all together, and he organized everything. Then we did brainstorming using design thinking to address the needs and the points of view of millennials and how we're going to talk to them and how we're going to engage them in our stories more and more to become more active and more aware of the reality around them. And this was the team. I just wanted to show you because I love these pictures. This really shows the spectacular vibe of Miami, and everybody's so excited to start. And I must tell you, I'm a bit obsessed with documentation. So this was my first day. I was meeting all these people, and I really wanted to know their mindset, what they were thinking and feeling.
This is the beginning of something very big, very important.
And you are the head of it. How do you feel?
Very excited. Very excited.
So what have you been doing at Fusion? You look very excited.
I look very excited, right? Really excited that we're today defining what will be the future of the most amazing company brand ever in the history of the universe for millennials. Yeah.
Felix, let me see your fashion outlook. You are very Miami style.
I'm Miami style, but I've been wearing this in New York because I am that cool.
You are that cool.
I'm
Oh yeah.
that cool.
Nice. Girls, may I ask you how you're feeling?
Great!
Very first day. This is amazing.
Well, you tell us how do you feel. You moved here 3 days ago.
I feel very excited, very honored to be here with you girls. And
What do you mean, you girls? What about me?
and your boy. For this boy, how do you feel now that you got us all together?
I know this is a dream come true.
Wait,
Look at
you got her here. That was quite a challenge.
her and her entire team.
I think you are the motor of this. We are the man. Anyway, to assemble the team was pretty hard, but finally we got all together. So we work remotely with the team from New York. This is the team from New York, so product and the detectives, so the investigative team led by Keith Suma. And they cross, so Keith is going back and forward, and the team in New York, we use these hangouts with the television. We do a lot of hardcore stuff, actually. We even build a website like that and come up with features that we want to contemplate. This is Adrian Saravia. He's our creative director of the entire Fusion. So he's like an octopus. He has a hand everywhere. So doing design, doing interactive, making sure that the design and look of the website remains Fusion. So this is the team getting together, very exciting times. And then our overall mission is like we are trying to push art upwards in the way we're telling stories of new stories to millennials. So bringing art into the story, we believe is pretty important. And being in Miami is a pretty artistic scene, so I think we have a nice way to go. So I'm going to pass to my colleague Miguel.
Hi everyone, my name is Miguel Costa. I'm the user experience and user interface design of the team. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the process to reach to the final goal instead of the final project itself. We always start by drawing on pen and paper or a board or whatever. It's the easiest way to share ideas and to have everyone together, try to brainstorm and to communicate what you want to tell with the story. From then on, we start putting our ideas on the computer. We normally do it at the beginning at black and white to focus just on the user experience. This is an example of the Daptor game. You can choose on the first screen to play as a Daptor as a collector, and then you have a narrative and you have options to choose that will trigger different routes on the story. From that point, we start to planify the whole experience since beginning to end, and all the possible end-ups for the user. This is an example of one of those boards. Because in these days, at least 50% of our target is mobile, we always design since the beginning for desktop, iPad, and mobile at the same time. And then just after that, we start to style the page and try different approaches, different styles of illustrations, different typographies, colors. And this is the final result of this piece. You can check it on our website. I'm going to give you the link after. Other project that I want to talk about is the Ferguson one. This was a project about the Twitter activity during the Ferguson. This was the initial concept. The idea was having a graph that would display the Twitter activity on the hashtag Ferguson, and then you'll have the tweet that illustrates each point on the story. Some pieces is very important since the beginning to prototype, to test how the user is going to interact with it. So this is a quick example of one of those prototypes. How the user can scroll and how it would interact with a tweet and with a graphic. A little bit forward, this was different styles that we have produced for the graphic itself and how it could be like the navigation. And this was the final piece on a desktop. I didn't want to take too long. We have put live recently a website where we put a case study of all of our projects. This is the URL. Feel free to go there and check. We have been constantly updating all the projects. We have like 8 now, I think, but it's always like updating every week, so you can see all the process here. And now I'm going to pass to my colleague Simon.
Thank you, Miguel. So hi everyone, my name is Simon do Croquet. I am I will talk about what are my role here in this team as a game designer and infographic animator. I'm gonna talk more in a sense of a working process, as we are like for 6 months, so I think that I can give more talking about what the challenges are being and more than taking too much conclusions at this moment. I think that one of the biggest challenges is being talking to an audience of the millennials, as I and most of the team is coming from daily newspapers background. So we are more used to do, in my case in infographics, more used to work with this kind of subjects and this kind of style for infographics, using neutral colors and not pushing it so hard on making it in a new style, or in a more, let's say, graphics that would be directed more for young audience. This is a newspaper daily newspaper in Brazil called Folha, and most of the readers are people above 40 or even 50 years. So this is the kind of subjects we deal with. It's politics, it's more charts, maps, breaking news. Sometimes we have the space to make. We had the space to make some more fun representations and more fun infographics, but mainly it's a serious newspaper. So coming to Fusion, I had to face like this challenge of how to make an infographic for young or millennials. And millennials is such a broad term that can handle so many ages and cultural diversity. So one of my first infographics I did at Fusion was this one. It's about kids that do boxing, and it's a video. I'm not gonna play because it takes a little bit long, but it shows how the impacts are in a kid that do boxing. So at this time I was more keeping the same style as I would do an infographic on my previous jobs on a newspaper. So little by little, what I'm trying to understand is how we can approach more a younger audience. I mean, getting it more a fresh look, using this kind of treatment as flat and low polygon styles that are sometimes related to the video game universe. And in this case, it was a video about the history of the video games. So there's a video with a timeline of all the generations from this first Atari and Magnavox to the last PlayStation. So that's another thing, is how to, what kind of subjects can we deal with when we are talking to millennials, and in a website or a TV as Fusion that has, it's not like something that is trying to make a traditional coverage. It has its own style of covering the stories. And also something that is important is trying to find narratives that can talk more to millennials, as using, for instance, video games. And this is an example. This was a very simple game for you. When you click on that button, you hear the sound of a machine that is sometimes an old machine from the 80s or from the 70s, and then you have to match with what object is making that sound. So that's something that we are trying to push, trying to develop, to have gaming inside the news storytelling. Here also more an infographic about how much time do you need to listen to the all Grammy nominees. It actually takes 11 days to listen to all them. And here too we try to make a fresh looking, something more pop, more young, as a visual treatment, using more colors, more illustrative elements. And here is an example of how far we can go. This is an infographic from a friend from Brazil, Renata Stefan, and this is a super interessante. It's like a magazine, like let's say more or less like a Wired from Brazil, and then you can make like funny and at the same time being very deep infographics. This is how you make surgery for changing the sex, the gender of someone. So they use it like bananas and flowers to represent human genitalia. I don't know how to say that. So that's it. Thank you for your time. I'm putting my link there. And Bamba, the game, it's my side, my personal interest in doing games. So it's an app and a game for iOS and iPhone. And a day I realized that the same skills that I had to make an interactive infographic, I can use for making games, for instance. So that's my try. So if you want to take a look, you're all invited. And thank you for your time.
Hey, my name is Victor Barca. I coming here for tell a story, very short story about a representation of reality and what's mean words. For example, when do you say two eyes, a nose, a mouth, you use your imagination and make in your brain a face, like in the center of the representation here is a circle, 2 point is a face. And in the left side appears an illustration more realistic about the words. Words are ideas and trying to make a representation about these ideas.
He tried. Wait.
What's mean that? I use a mask. Yeah. Now it's me talking to you, looking your face. You are looking my face. I am like maybe these guys, and the yellow sweet guys was a representation. I'm trying to do this something in my job. My job is make illustration. I come from Chile, and work for newspaper for a lot of years. I can remember. Cannot remember. In this case, I use a more realistic illustration for make a video game for Fusion. This is called Bar Paper. And another illustration is about Jacques Lauder and a little problems with veterans and something so huge was good news for Fusion. And this was illustration for Raise Up. It's a lot of illustration, only you can see one. I don't know why, but life is in this way. Yep. Next. Oh, magic. Wow, now it's moving. It's a lot of illustrations. And another illustration about OCD, 2 for Fusion, a little sketch about illustrations. And in this case, I use a lot of techniques like watercolor, inks, digital reproduction, everything that is I can do for trying to put the idea of the journalist or editor-in-chief. I'm trying to do this. This is Mr. Nick Cave and 2 kind of illustrations. And another is more realistic illustrations. And you can watch a lot of images made for me in my blog, in Google, in every place. But I want to finish this with, came back to this image. And this representation for me is so clear because I don't try to get in one style. I prefer using a lot of style because I think that when do you use the more pertinent visual language for the news is very important. And in this case, for me, It's so important to understand what means words, ideas, and representation of reality. Thank you for your time.
Hey guys, yeah, I'm just gonna fix it. Okay, so my name is Olman Hernandez. I work as a video producer for these amazing guys. And it says social media video virus, which is kind of weird. I didn't write that, by the way. No, that was actually Mariana. But yeah, I mean, pretty much I do everything that is around video. I mean, I do motion graphics. I do a little bit of 3D. I of course produce, I shoot, I edit, I color correct. I mean, I'm right now just doing whatever these people need, and I'm happy to do it because these guys are real talented. So I come from Costa Rica, beautiful country, beautiful volcanoes. If you guys haven't been there, just go whenever you guys want. And I'm gonna brag a little bit about the. This came out like a couple days ago. We are number 16 on Freedom of Press index in the world, so that's pretty good. And I think we're like pretty high in Latin American centers. Probably like one of the highest countries in Latin American countries in freedom of press, which is really good. Thanks to a lot of people that I met when I was working in La Nación. I used to work in that newspaper when I was in Costa Rica, and I met awesome people there. Janina Segnini, which I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys know her. I used to work with her, and she was amazing. And you know, all these things are thanks to people like that and pretty good artists that worked with me, and I knew them in working in Costa Rica. So last year, Mariana asked me to join this team. Of course, I said yes. I knew it was going to be fun, and it's been really fun. But I knew it was going to be pretty challenging because, of course, talking about video, it's really hard when you talk about video on the web because, I mean, the parameters are just different completely than talking about film or talking about commercial video or talking about documentary video or TV. And the thing is, now everyone wants to do video, and now everyone wants to be a part of it, wants to produce, wants to edit. And the thing is, I think it's really, really good that people want to do this. And you know, you can easily just download softwares. You can shoot with your phone. You can download applications for your iOS, for your Android, and you know, make glitches and do a bunch of cool stuff, and then just upload it. And it looks really fun. You can actually now do interactive video with really easy to use applications on the web. And I think all of these things are pushing the barriers, the limits of video and interactivity much further than it was yesterday or in the past times. You know, I'm pretty sure that a lot of the things that we're about to see in video, I mean, like the future of video, it's going to be a lot better than what we know right now. Right now, I think we're just doing baby steps on video interactivity stuff, but I'm pretty sure soon we're going to see really cool stuff. And you know, media like Fusion, it's you know, those types of media networks that actually are trying to push these limits a lot. So this is Snapchat video. So it's horizontal. I don't know if you guys, what? Oh, I'm sorry, vertical. My bad. Vertical, God, of course. And well, I don't know if you guys have checked that out, that out in Discovery Snapchat. But you know, it's just a different dimension of video, and trying to. That's a promotional video for interactive we did, but I mean, it's pretty different. Of course, the design, it's completely different. You have to compose your graphic a lot different, and you cannot even adapt just a normal horizontal video to a vertical line, because I mean, you have to make this up from scratch. And then, I mean, this is another teaser for social networks, for an abortion game. Did with the guy, well, this guy's mate, and with these illustrations are actually Victor's. which I'll just throw a little effect, but I mean, the illustrations are awesome. And then finally, this is stop sign Williams Smile. Oh, there you go. That's the stop sign Williams Smile. This type of things where I do this every time this guy's making an interactive. What I do is make a teaser for social networks, and to try to move it a little bit and merchandise it a little bit more, and yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. It's a bit hot in this purple jumpsuit. My name's Kit, and I'm a developer in this team. I want to throw the spotlight on two stories that have come out of the Fusion newsroom in the last 2 weeks, and how we use code to tell the stories, and how they wouldn't have been possible without interactive development. And the first one is, you just saw a promo for it, and we wanted to try and tell the story of this woman, Tatiana. She's an illustrator and she's an artist from Oklahoma. And her latest project, the full title is Stop Telling Women to Smile, and it's about street harassment in Mexico City. And it's not only her story, but it's also the story of 75 other women interviewed on the streets of Mexico. And we could have done this in a documentary, we could have done this in an article, but we wanted to bring all of our skills together and build something slightly different. And this new project, I would describe it as the largest non-linear project to date. It's video footage, it's interviews, it's interactive, it's maps, it's subtitling, and this is just a brief scroll through, but I invite you to check it out if you can. Just Google Stop Telling Women to Smile. And this is really an example of the sort of project that you can't do unless you have designers, developers, coders, all working in tandem to produce, yeah, an interactive documentary. Sound, I don't know. Yeah. It's okay. Subtitling was another concern because the women speaking Spanish, obviously, and yeah, we had to get translators, and there's over 100 subtitling files in here. You can try, yeah, it's good to try it.
Because I don't have the gloves. Actually, you can remove your gloves.
Ingrid Rendón, 26 años, ven acá chichitas. Por eso las violan.
Mi nombre es Andrea, tengo 54 años. Pues me han dicho, ay, qué buenas boobies tienes, me gustaría tenerlas en mis manos, en la boca.
If you're walking down the street and someone makes a comment about you, about, say, your legs, I want those legs around me. You know what I mean? If you're just walking down the street and someone says to you, I bet I feel good in your mouth, you're not just going to walk away from that feeling like happy and cheery. It makes you look at yourself in a different way. The project Stop Telling Women to Smile started just with my own experiences with street harassment. I wanted to do some art around this topic because it's something that I go through all the time. It wasn't like one incident. People have asked me, was there one thing that happened that made you start this project? And it wasn't. I've gone through, it's almost a daily thing for me. So it's not really one thing that happens. It's the sheer fact that it happens all the time.
Anyway, I'd love to show you the whole thing, but do check it out if you get a chance. This was launched just on Monday. The purpose one, yeah, the bottom.
No te tengo miedo.
Pues que qué poco valor civil.
¿Qué te pasa, pendejo? Porque me amo y me respeto, no te permito que me trates así.
Que se las mame a su madre, ¿no?
¿Quién te da derecho a hostigarme? No me importa lo que quieras decir de mi cuerpo.
Creo que nadie tiene derecho a decirte eso.
Respétame.
Tu verga no me sirve para nada. Eso fue para mí un acoso fuerte.
Tengo derecho a caminar segura, no te permito que me violentes.
No estés jodiendo, no me molestes.
Cada vez que me lo dices y cada vez que me ves así, soy tu hija, soy tu mamá, soy tu hermana.
And then obviously the final part of this documentary is an invitation to participate from the audience. The hashtag STWTS, Stop Telling Women to Smile. We're inviting at the moment contributions on social media, Instagram, Facebook. And I think that's really something extra that this sort of storytelling can bring to it. We can update the project with contributions from the audience. Let me go back to this. But I'd like to just talk about one more aspect of what we do at Fusion. And we're trying to address an audience of millennials, and a lot of what we do involves data analysis, data journalism, data visualization. What we're looking at here is the US Census data, and we want to throw a spotlight on wealth and wealth inequality facing millennials. And shockingly, of the 70 million millennials in the USA, 28 million have a yearly income of less than $10,000 a year. This comes through from the data, but we're trying to address an audience which doesn't. We want to make this more fun, more engaging, more lively, and with brainstorming with these guys, these talented guys behind me, we put this at the top of a news story, a serious article, but it was a calculator, a wealth calculator. And we wanted to, you just put in your yearly income, and it tells you where you fit in the population of millennials. And this is a row of houses. We visualize this as a row of houses. And the houses would change based on your yearly income. So you go to 25,000 and you move up to a nicer house. And then the actual figure to put yourself in the 1% of millennials is 129,000 a year. So anyone earning above that becomes part of not the wider 1%, which is about 300, 400,000, but the millennial 1%. And this is a Miami condominium with the limousine and a yacht sails in and out at the side. And I think this is a good example of how we can take a serious subject and we can make it more engaging, more interesting, and more exciting to our audience.
This is Fusion Interactive.
What's the name? And yeah, that's all from me. Thanks.
Thank you. I don't know if you guys want to make any questions. We are here to serve you. As we say in Costa Rica, para servirle. Right?
Thank you. Love the presentation. Love the entrance. And quick question. If you were to have a conversation with your faculty when you went to school, what skills or how would you have done everything different, of what things you would have pretty much used once you came into this awesome team?
Okay, I can address this as being right now at the university. So Fusion was sweet enough to let me go to Stanford, where I'm studying right now. I got a night fellowship, so it's a JSK night fellowship, and I'm learning a lot about so many different things. And right now, sorry, I just passed this. Right now, what I would like to do, and I've been trying to push that button, is how could we create at school something that will be something like the team, you know? So I've been trying to talk to the journalism department there at Stanford, trying to say, like, can we bring computer science students, can we bring artists, animators, video producers, photographers together and build projects together, you know, because at Stanford, and I believe in other universities, there is an intersection of skills and activities, but it's not yet super well defined. So Ullman just talked about Janina Segnini, which she was my boss at the, well, she was my editor-in-chief when I was working in La Nación last year, and she is trying to do exactly the same at Columbia University, bringing investigative journalism with computer science students. But it's so hard, like it's really hard. First of all, to break the bureaucracy of university is pretty hard, right? And then it's just like, I feel it has to come from people and just do like in a community-based, spontaneously. So that's why Hacks and Hackers, I think, try to address these, so many other events that try to bring journalists, developers, designers together, and other different skill sets. So if I would go back to school, which I am now, I'm really trying to put this in place. It's a bit hard to be at Stanford and in Miami at the same time, so I'm going to come back here, but eventually more and more I would like, and if I still be given the freedom, to have a space in my team to have mentoring and have students who want to do these kind of projects coming with us and like riding the boat with us, learning by doing. Because at the end of the day, I believe learn by do is the best way you can learn. And if you are not given the opportunity to do real life projects at university, then I hope we can be a space where this kind of knowledge can get exchanged.
Hey, I got a question for Mariana. So first of all, awesome presentations, thank you very much. And Mariana, you spent your ICFJ fellowship a while back, like a year ago now, working on Chicas Poderosas, which was your project to teach data journalism to female journalists around Latin America. Can you explain to us why you hired a bunch of guys on your team at Fusion? Thank you.
Yeah, honestly, I've been attacked, and this question has been addressed to me for a long time. So since the last 2 years, I've been working on Chicas Poderosas. It's a project that trained exactly what we just told you, to women. So when I was assembling my team, I was given 2 months to put everybody together and move to Miami ASAP. So I had at the top of my list to have a mixed team, as I wish to have had in my past. Like when I was at The Guardian, everybody that I worked with were males, except for one girl. This one girl, her name is Annabelle Church. I really tried to bring her. She was a Mozilla Fellow last year, so I said, after your fellowship, would you like to join our team? And she said, the work you guys do is not exactly what I want. I want to do back-end stuff. So I was like, okay. Then another girl that I worked with in Costa Rica, I want to bring her, but then visa issues, and because she was too young to bring someone that was so young, there would be a lot of Americans that could take that position. And to be honest, I tried to, my challenge was, you have to do kick-ass stuff. So the pressure from Daniel was pretty obvious, like you have to do leading pieces. And I could not hire in 2 months people that I wouldn't know. So across my network, I tried to address the best people I've worked with, and they were part of it, as well women. But these women, they were not either available. Then there was another, Paula, which is colleague of Victor, and she just got pregnant, so she didn't want to move to Miami. So a lot of stuff happened in the field. Right now, Annabelle, that has seen the work we've been putting together, she's now telling me, maybe I would like to do storytelling. So we are now looking into bringing her. Let's see if that's going to be possible or not. And we are intensively looking forward with schools that teach development, both for men and girls, because we don't want to hire just because of the gender. We want to hire people that have all those qualities that I mentioned. They are nice people that really want to do excellent job, and that are really, really committed to what we are producing here. So it's by luck that my network of people that I've worked with are male. I have had the chance to work with so many women as I wish. But nevertheless, they are pretty awesome people, and we are all welcoming women in the team. They actually are pretty single, and they would love to have more girls to present friends. No, in the office, and then let me just tell you, they want to party not just with boys. In the office, the editor-in-chief is a woman. The director of Voices is a woman. We have Nuria Net here. She's a woman, and she leads the newsroom. Hey, Nuria. So actually, Fusion overall is pretty balanced in gender. I would dare to say that we are actually more females than men. In my team in specific, I was given very little time. I picked the best I knew, and I hope we have the opportunity to grow and involve people from other continents as well, and my gender as well. So.
Yeah, so thank you for the presentation and congratulations on all the great work. And I hope some of our students here from FIU are able to become involved with things that you're doing, especially if you get a mentorship program. I think it sounds fantastic. And I'm so amazed by the sort of breadth of work that you do, and it's sort of cutting edge and topics that other media outlets might not necessarily cover. And I find it so interesting that you're doing it under the umbrella of Disney and Univision, right, which are large corporate, publicly owned companies, very bottom line driven in many ways, but they seem to have given Fusion a pretty wide berth at this point. And I'm curious what it's like. Do you feel that you're working underneath these huge companies, or do you feel pretty free from that? And will it always be that way, or will at some point will it change? So I'm curious about that. And for Mariana or anybody else from the team wants to talk about what it's like based on other places you've worked and where you're at now, because it seems to me you're given a lot of freedom to kind of pursue your passions and your creative interests.
I have an opinion, and I would welcome you guys to share your opinions as well. So right now, we don't feel any pressure from the mother companies. All the pressure we have is do innovative stuff, like explode the rules, So we have to know the rules and then be able to explode them and really go that far. So we have been giving both responsibility but a lot of freedom, and they trust us. That's the best thing ever, to have a boss that trusts you and say, do your thing. So basically, we all try to do the best we can as individuals and bring it to the group, and together in sync try to bring the best of each other in the final recipe, So I don't know about the future. I don't know if this is going to continue to be like that. Apparently it is. All they say is like, you are doing a good job, so keep going and keep exploring. So we are pretty like exploring and trying to put ourselves out of our comfort zones. Do you want to share your opinions?
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about Fusion, I think, I used to work for, it was a company, for La Nación, it was a company, aimed to people maybe more than 40 and stuff like that. Fusion, it's pretty young, and it's aimed to millennials. I think it's pretty cool that it's still developing. It's a developing concept. So it's pretty free to do whatever you like. I met yesterday with Adrian and Kent for a digital rebranding of the video, and they were like, "Yeah, just come up with something that you would be like watching TV in your home and be like, whoa, that's amazing." As a young kid, as a young guy, just do whatever that comes to your mind, And that's for young people, it's pretty cool for a old guy to tell you something like that. Like, do whatever you want, man. Don't feel pressure, don't feel limited to do this or that because that's the way it's supposed to be. It's just do whatever you think it's best, because what you're doing, it's aimed to people that it's actually your same age and think the same thing that it's on your mind. It's the same experience you're living in. It's the same environment. So I think it's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, I got a question. First, congratulations for your job, but I want to know what is your business model? How do you pay the bills?
So right now, it's the mother companies that are investing on us, and it's money. So it's said that 10% of your wealth should be invested in innovation. I'm not sure if they are investing 10%, but they're investing a big chunk of it in innovation. And Fusion is a project for innovation, both for Disney and for Univision. If Nuria wants to add something, she would be in a better position to answer that. Yeah. Exactly. I know by fact, talking yesterday with Jose, that there is a strategy plan on how we're going to merge everything that we've been learning as a young startup company into the mother companies. So this is like the return of investment will be hopefully with innovation and with helping them reach their audiences in a better way.
Yeah, so it sounds like the investment is in experimentation and then taking the learnings from that and applying it to the business model
exactly
afterwards. Great. One last question.
Hi.
Hey.
So just related to the answers that y'all just gave to the previous two questions, to pull it all together, does that mean that y'all don't have to think about kind of how these things perform from like a traffic perspective, or how do y'all think about that? What's the feedback loop? Because that, you know, there's obviously business models, one way to think about it, or like how you know, an experiment, there's like, you know, a test and some results, and you have a feedback loop. So how do y'all think about that if the sort of the mandate is so broad?
So right now it's still very broad. We all have access to the analytics of Fusion as we just launched this first year, and now we have analytics, and we all can be keeping track of what does well and what's not, so we can change and shift and pivot our attitude towards how we're going to tell stories. Right now we have not been given targets of clicks. It's pretty broad. It's like we want to increase the audience and the returning users. So right now, no pressure whatsoever is on us on that level right now, but we are 1 year old, so I don't know if that's going to change.
Okay, great. We have one last question that maybe wants to go.
So one of the things that we have gotten a lot of pushback from is that you guys are really great at is creating those previews of your projects that are coming out. We are told that that is not content creation, that that's marketing, but you guys do it in your department, and you do it really well, better than probably a marketing department would. Why do you think it's important to keep that within the team?
So right now we have been, before we had Holman, we did not have the luxury to handcraft all these preloads of pre-experience teasers. Before it was a social media and marketing platform. Because our entire group is engaged in a project from day one, from the moment where we're trying to solve a problem, we come up with different solutions and we face problems, and why not take this solution and the other, and that overall solution will come across when we produce something. So this is the main things we found that were very important to pass. So it's like coming from within, from the very beginning of the project. I don't know if you want to add something, but it's like Ullman, as a video producer, he does interactive video that goes inside the video. He's totally, he breeds the project. So it's different from grabbing a project, do some cuts on the video and just share a little bit of it. He can really bring the best off and leave some secrets undercovered so people will have the interest to come back. So on that phase as well, we are trying to experiment and see what works and not. So, but we believe it's pretty more effective because we're really inside the project, so we know a lot about it.
Great. Thank you so much to the Fusion Interactive team. Excellent job. Yeah.
Can we go?
Yeah, sure. I might just suggest to all the men on the team that there's this strategy called 1 for 1. So start diversifying your networks so that it's not all on Mariana. Thank you so much.